Greetings. This is OG Eddie Lee, and I'm just gonna run this story down right quick to my listeners and watchers. Right, um, I'm gonna tell you how it was in the '70s for the ones that wasn't born yet. For the ones that didn't grow up in Mobile, Alabama, or some of the cities or communities around Mobile, Alabama, and time frame. This gonna be. I'm gonna jump it to. I would say 73, and I'm gonna go forward, but I'm not gonna talk about 73 that much. But I am gonna go forward. All right. What I want to talk about is uh, interacting with young ladies. Now, this is just how it was for me and some of the guys that I interacted with, right? Because there's no secrets about the guys I hung around with and the guys that I hung around with that had relatives that was females. Now, I'm talking about maybe their sister, their niece, or cousin of that nature, right? But at that time, it was a lot of young ladies. They was actually into the not necessarily the bookworm, the guy that they know going to high school and going to college. I'm not saying that it wasn't women out there that liked those kind of guys, because it was young ladies out there that liked those kind of guys, and it was also family members like your mother or your grandmother, your older sisters, or maybe your aunties that might have liked that kind of girl to be in a relationship with their brother or their niece, right? I'm gonna say brother or their nephew or something of that nature, or their grandson, right? Or a mother might want his son to have that kind of female that want that kind of guy, because in their minds it's less stress on the relationship moving forward, regardless how long the relationship lasts, if the guy is pretty rounded, and or at least he's showing that he's headed in the right direction. One thing about driving a car, or one thing about going in a direction, in life had a tendency to take you sometime around the long way of getting somewhere, right? Sometimes that stop sign that you run, sometimes that yellow caution sign that you blow through, that green light that you stop for, that intersection that ends and it has that fork in the road going to the left or going to the right, and you sitting there because you in unfamiliar territory. You don't know if you should make a left and right. This is not no information aid. It's not no way you could Google where you're supposed to go, or go online and find out where you're supposed to be in those damn times, right? You either knew or you didn't know. You tried to figure it out. And sometimes you just roll with it, hoping you were going in the right direction. And if the street or road or circle is right, but the address is wrong, then you got to figure that out, right? So the guys that I interacted with, their sister was actually liking young G recruits. And what I mean young G recruits, the guy ain't no bookworm. He's not running no track. He don't show no tendency of being some kind of Ivy League student or going to college and having that type of lifestyle. They looking at the guys that reminds them to who they connected to. If it's a sister that got a couple older brothers, and the things that older brother is doing, and that sister really like that brother, or that aunt really like that nephew, or anything of that nature, usually those type of girls being around that kind of environment, they're gonna get used to interacting with those kind of guys. And a lot of the guys that I interact with from 1973 to 1976, they was interacting with other homies' sisters. And most of those guys didn't have no problem with that. It was almost like they expected for their sister or their niece or their first cousin to be involved with that type of guy, right? It wasn't a lot of backlash. Where the backlash came from, if they had that kind of brother, that kind of cousin, that kind of nephew, and then she get hooked up with some guy that's a straight bookworm. He wear glasses and he seem to be a nerd. That might be a problem for that brother or that first cousin or or that guy that got that niece, cause he might think that's not the type of guy that his sister or his niece or his first cousin need to interact with. I never went out of my way to interact with none of the guys that I interacted with or siblings or relatives, but it have been occasions. And I noticed the first occasion that I'm gonna touch on, because it got something to do with 73, and I was attending Dunbar Junior High School. It was my first time walking from the Orange Grove Housing Projects to Dunbar Junior High School to start the sixth grade. This was after the summer of 1973 was over with, right? And I was actually going to Dunbar for the first time, not to register for school, but to actually attend school, right? I remember coming out of my family back door and I cut through the basketball courts. Now I'm on the corner of Earl and Lawrence Street, and I see a lot of teenagers in my age group walking toward the direction of Dunbar Junior High School. So it was only safe for me to assume that's where they was headed, because they had a public school bus that came into the Orange Grove Housing Project, the whole entire Orange Grove Housing Projects. You just needed to know where to go to catch that particular bus to go to that particular school. And for every student that caught that school bus, I want to say I never went to an integrated school once my family moved into the Orange Grove Housing Projects in 1973. From 1973 until my school term of the eighth grade in it, which was 1976, I never entered. I never entered a junior high school that actually practiced integration. It was integration schools and surrounding communities that the school bus would come into the projects and pick the students up and drop them off, right? But I never was able to take advantage of that because my mom never asked me did I want to ride a school bus, public school bus to school. She sent me to the same school that she attended. She sent me to the same school that all her siblings attended, which was Dunbar Junior High School. And that's where I went. So I remember while I'm standing at the corner of Earl and Lawrence Street, I see this young lady walking by me. She got all these damn books, right? And she looked like she needs some extra set of hands or wagon or something to help her with these damn books. I couldn't. I was so surprised how she was trying to tackle carrying all those books by herself, right? So when she walked by me, since I was going in that damn direction that she was going in, I could tell she was older than me because she was fully developed woman. You know, she had basically an ideal body. If I had to say what an ideal body was back then, if I was that familiar with young ladies, I would say she did, right? She was fine. So I walked up to her and asked her did she need some help carrying her school books, right? I'm gonna have to stop this video and I'm gonna pick it up. after this end. Peace. When I asked this young lady, I say, look, I'm headed in your direction, at least the direction you walk into. I don't know if you heading to Dunbar Junior High School, but I am. And if you want to, it's no strings attached. If you want to, I help you carry some of your books if you're going to Dunbar. I said, if you're not going to Dunbar, but if you walking in Dunbar Junior High School direction, I will still help you carry those books, and I would just have to stop and give you your books back once I reach Dunbar Junior High School campus. She told me she was going to Dunbar Junior High School, and she appreciated my help and the kindness of me offering to carry her books. So she gave me several of her books, and we started to walk and talk. She told me she never seen me before, and I told her it was going to be my first time attending Dunbar Junior High School. I told her that my family and I had just moved into the Orange Grove Housing Projects community during the summer of 1973. And this is going to be my first time attending any school in this community. And she asked me what grade I was going to be in. I told her the 6th. And she told me this was her last year at Dunbar Junior High School because she was in the 8th grade. She asked me where my family and I lived. I told her my family and I lived at the corner of Earl and North Franklin. And she told me her family lived at the corner of Earl and North Franklin. And I said, my family lived in the upstairs and downstairs unit, you know, the ones that's built like a townhouse, right? I said, which one do your family live in? Because I never saw you. I don't only been inside the projects a little over a month, but I have been doing some walking around. I've been going over to the campground, running errands for my mother, and I got family in the campground community. And I never saw you in none of the units on the side where my family lived that was upstairs and downstairs. She said, I live across the street. You could only see a part of my family unit from where you live. And she told me she lived in a flat unit, the units that was built like ranch style. I say, so you live in what they call the Jesse Thomas project? She said, yeah, I live in Jesse Thomas. Even though they're all sharing the same large piece of land that's owned by Mobile Housing Authority, I live in Jesse Thomas. I don't live in the actual Orange Grove, what people call the original Orange Grove. She said, I think your family live in the Abbott Owens. I said, yeah, my family live in Abbott Owens. She said the families that live over there by Abbott Owens Elementary School, they live in the A.F. Owens. And she said the people that living in flat units like my family and I live in, they live in the Jesse Thomas. And she told me Jesse Thomas was the last housing project built by the Mobile Housing Authority on that same piece of large land. So I told her my name, and I told her my name. She told me her name. When we reached Dunbar campus, I got ready to hand her books, and all these students, seemed like every student that was available to be around in that area at the time, man, they stopped what they was doing, and they saw me hand her books. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, wow, though. People are watching me give her these books. Later that day while at school, I met some guys that I ended up being in the same homeroom class as them. And they asked me about the female, the young lady. They said, how did you meet her and y'all dating? I said, no. She had some books and she was heading toward Dunbar Junior High School. I was headed toward Dunbar Junior High School, and she had a lot of books, and those books were heavy. And I offered to help her carry those books. And they told me, man, you got to be careful with that. And I said, what you mean? He said, around here, if a guy walking with a girl walking with a guy, better not let that guy be carrying some books belong to that girl. They gonna pair y'all up as girlfriend and boyfriend. And if y'all not girlfriend and boyfriend, it's gonna cause a problem because it might be some guys that like that girl that they see you with, but they might not make no move, and there might be some girls like you, but they saw you with her, and 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna make no move at you. Our advice to you is to not be carrying no young lady books on this campus or any campus unless you're trying to make some kind of statement. You do that, you making a statement basically saying y'all together. So I heard what they had to say, and it sounded kind of reasonable to me. So at that point, I didn't carry no more books. But it was times that I saw girls on campus that after campus, I asked them where they lived. They told me. And I asked, can I walk with them? And I walked with them and talked. Before it was over with, it was rumored that I saw you walking with so-and-so, talking with so-and-so, or y'all dating. It seemed like everything that I tried to do while at Dunbar with any of the young female students around Dunbar, I was always confronted about it for us being together, for us being as one, a couple, a girlfriend and boyfriend. So I'll never forget when I met the first young lady that I helped with the books. I had started going to see her. I went to saw her about 3 times. She lived like she said, right across the street from me. So I went and visited her 3 times. The 4th time I went and saw her, she was in the back doing something, and her 3 brothers, they had a basketball in their hand, and they was getting ready to walk out of the front door. And they asked me, you shoot basketball? I said, yeah, I play basketball from time to time. They said, we need another player. You want to play some basketball? Instead of me saying no, I said, sure. I don't know how the young lady took it when she got through doing what she was doing and came in the living room and I was gone. I had left with her brothers and started shooting basketball. When I did that, that opened the door. Next thing you know, I'm finding myself shooting basketball and doing more boy stuff, playing marbles. Then I started gambling. I'll never forget the first time me and her had an opportunity to talk. I knocked on the door to come see her brothers, and she came to the door and she told me, I remember when you used to come over here and see me. Now you hanging out with my brothers. I was kind of stunned with what she said to me, but it was true. And at that point, I had an opportunity to say, okay, I need to leave her brothers alone or get with her. But, you know, I admit at that time, I wasn't ready for no girlfriend, no one-on-one girlfriend, and I never was. So by the time 1976 came, I was very sure on what I wanted to do and what I did want to do. So all the young ladies that seemed like they wanted to be time-consuming, ones that wanted to hold my hand, ones that wanted me to walk them home, ones that wanted me to spend my unoccupied time with them, I decided to stay away from that because I didn't want to be rumored as being one woman or one young lady, particular dude. Then it was times I saw young ladies when I was standing with the fellas outside the convenience store called Quick Stop, which was on the outside of the Orange Grove Housing Projects community. Quick Stop convenience store was between Pecan, Persimmon Street, and Monday. It sat on Monday, but to your right, it was Persimmon Street of Quick Stop, and to your left of Quick Stop, it was Pecan Street, and Quick Stop wasn't spelled Quick. This particular Quick Stop was spelled Kwick. right? K-W-I-C-K. Okay, I'm going to go forward. All right. Everything seemed to be going well for me. I did interact with some young ladies, and it wasn't about monopolizing my time or making me obligated to one them. These young ladies only wanted to spend time with me when I had time to spend with them. They wasn't trying to monopolize my time. But if you ain't guessed it, you know me. If you didn't guess it, I'm gonna tell you right now. These young ladies was anywhere from 3 to 5 years older than me, and 2 out of the 3 young ladies already had kids, a little kid. Like one had a little girl, one had a little boy. So they weren't that trying to sweat me type of thing, because they was older. They said that whenever you have time and you want to hang out with me or come see me, you let me know, and then we could plan that, and you could come see me. They even had their own place inside the Orange Grove housing projects community, so it wasn't any sweat or no obligations, but me to be coming through every day like that, and I liked it there. So in September 1976, I got arrested. I was taken to the Mobile County Youth Center. And then in February of 1977, I was trial as an adult. And about a couple of weeks after, I got trial as an adult in February of 1977. After being tried as an adult, I was bound over to the Mobile County Jail. While in the county jail, I didn't have any girlfriends coming to see me. I didn't have no foot soldier because I didn't interact with women like that, right? So it wasn't no woman that I could pick up the phone and call. It wasn't no woman that I could write a letter to that'll write me back. I'd have had a hard time trying to even get in touch with some of the girls that I knew. And even if I was able to get in touch with them, 9 times out of 10, especially the ones in my age group, they mother wasn't going to let them have nothing to do with me, especially with me being behind bars. There's no way in the world I could call there and I couldn't make a collect call from the Mobile County Jail to these girls' home. They mom wouldn't have took the call, and then their mom would have definitely let them know that I was bad news and not to have anything to do to me. So what I decided not to do for having a regular steady girlfriend was coming back to hunt me. But I was playing it off like it wasn't no big deal to me, but it was. All right. I think I had been in cell block 207 maybe 2 weeks, no more than a month. We just got through eating dinner at this large, big-ass stainless steel table that was in the cell block. Majority of the inmates sat there and ate. The other ones might take the food to their bunk to eat. After we got through eating our dinner, all the inmates that were sitting at that table got up, took their tray over to the area where the empty trays go. It left about 3 older inmates still sitting at the table. These inmates was anywhere from 5 to 10 years older than me, right? The conversation started by one of the inmates, one of the OG inmates, saying to me, "Youngblood, you've been in here with us over a month, and we have noticed who come visit you. You have nothing but immediate family members coming to visit you. We don't never see no young lady coming to visit you, no kind of girlfriend or maybe some type of young lady you was interactive with before you got arrested." I explained to them what I just told y'all, that most of the young ladies in my age group was clingy. They were looking for boyfriends, regular boyfriends. And I wasn't trying to be no young lady steady boyfriend. And I said, because of that, I don't have no foot soldier. The inmates told me at that time, they said, "Look, All right, you don't have no foot soldier, but we're in a predicament to help you. We're willing to help you get you a female that'll write you. Maybe she'll come see you. Maybe she would even take some of your collect phone calls. But in order for us to want to help you, it's two things you got to be able to do. You got to want our help, and that's not wasting our time when we're trying to help you. And what was the other one? Want their help, and I can't be wasting their time. They say true enough. We're all in here locked down for whatever reason. Some of us already got our time. We going to the penitentiary. Some of us is waiting to go to court to find out how much time we got or gonna get. But regardless, we have no reason to interact with you if we wasting our time, because we don't have no time to waste. So they say, young blood, are you willing? Are you willing to want to receive this free tutorship? No strings attached. All right, I had time to spare. I ain't had been to court. I didn't know how much time I was getting yet because I ain't got sentenced. What they said sounded appealing to me. So I wouldn't mind that. I say, where we start. They say, okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have you write a letter. Just think of some woman that you would like to write to, that you met already, that's out in the free world. Write the letter. Get a letter to us. All three of us gonna read it, and we're gonna tell you where you made your mistakes, and how you need to damn write the kind of letter that's gonna capture that woman's attention. Hopefully, put her in a predicament to where she gonna look forward to receiving letters from you. Them letters could turn into you being able to make some collect calls to her. And from some collect phone calls, you might even be able to get her to come down here and visit you. It all depends on her and how strong your game is going to be. All right? So I wrote the letter and I gave it to them. All three of them took time reading the letter. And they said, okay, the letter's not bad. We can tell you got some schooling. But this kind of letter here is not going to work for the type of girl that you're going to be able to get to come see you here. The kind of girls that'll take your, accept your collect phone calls. The kind of girls that'll take their time to write you. The type of girls that used to being involved with a certain caliber guy. The type of guys that all us inmates are. In order to attract that type of woman, you know, that woman is free-minded. You ain't got to worry about her having to be concerned about what her grandmother, her mother, or aunties, or a big sister, or not even what her brother have to say if she like you. This letter won't work with them. So we want you to write another one. They gave me a little details on what I'm supposed to say in my own words. They gave me ideas. I wrote another letter. I gave it to them, and they read it. They said this letter is better. They said, before we even introduce you to anybody in here that got a sister, or a niece, or a cousin, or maybe an aunt in your age group, or maybe a little older than you, we're going to let you work on your letter writing style first. Let you get that up. Once you get that up, once your letter could attract our attention to the point to let us know that you're ready for the next step, and then we'll work on you with your procedure and how you talk. All right, I'm about to stop this. I think I might have wrote, I didn't write 10 letters. I would say maybe 8. It was under 10. And then at that point is when they said, okay, your letter writing style have grown. Now we got to figure out who we could get to be a pen pal because you need someone to write to. In order for you to grow further than what you've grown now, you need somebody to be able to write to. So they say, you know, my man over there got a niece. She periodically comes see him. She been around him down there all her life. She's attracted to the type of guys that's around him. She just see him interact with. But they're all being too old for her. You in the right age group. We're going to holler at him and get him to hook you up. They talked to the inmate. We was all in the same cell block. Talked to the inmate. Told them what they were trying to do for me. They wanted to take some of the stress out my stepfather, my mother, and my other relative that was coming to visit me. They just wanted me to have a pen pal, a young lady pen pal. And before it was over with, I'm writing letters now to this guy, niece, sister, or cousin, because it was more than one inmate that wanted to see this work for me. So I'm writing letters to about maybe 4 different young ladies. They're all older than me. They all got some kind of involvement in the game. They all looking for somebody to have their back. They all got this Bonnie and Clyde type of dream or mentality. This is what I realized by talking to them on phone. This is what I realized when I read their letters. And my letters had to correspond with what their letters. What I said I wanted to do had to stay within what they want and expect for me to do in order for me to be able to have them accept my calls, collect calls now, where I didn't pay, they had to pay. Take their time to write me a letter when they could be doing something else. And definitely take their time to come visit me. All this started feeling good to me. It really did. It got to where sometimes my mom would tell me she didn't feel like coming to visit me. I would tell my mother that was okay. The inmates in here, they got relatives in my age group. I got some young ladies now that are pen pals. And I said, Mom, sometimes the young ladies even come see me. I said, every now and then, they put a couple dollars on my books. My mom asked me, what was I doing wrong? How did I get the young ladies to do this? I said, Mom, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm in here for doing wrong. I can't do no more wrong than what I was involved in to get me where I'm at. Only thing I'm doing is I'm socializing. I'm interacting. I'm not allowing me to be, just because I'm incarcerated in this cage, I'm not letting that stop me from being able to communicate outside with young ladies. Yeah, they're a little bit older than me, and they might be a different caliber of young lady. They might not even be the type of young ladies that I could bring home to you. I have to find out when I get out. And be around them to see if they are somebody I would bring home to let you meet. But right now, they're helping me pass my time away. They're giving me something else to do. It's hope. I got something to hope and look forward to now. So it's making me doing time a little easier. Right. So when I wasn't writing my pen pal females that the inmates turned me on to, when they wasn't coming to visit me, when at times I wasn't making the collect phone calls, I decided to take it up a notch. They would bring the phone in to our cell block 3 times a week. The phone would stay there from one night until the wee hours in the morning. When I say wee hours, I'm talking about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I decided to wait until a lot of the inmates was asleep or doing whatever they do. I decided to start calling the operator. The operator pick up and say, who do you want to build this collect call to? Who can I say is trying to reach them collect? What's your name? And I would say, I'm not trying to make a collect call. All the people I know is asleep. And the ones that ain't asleep are, I don't have their phone numbers. When I got locked up, I got cut off from a lot of things. I said, the only thing I want to do is talk. I want to hear a woman talk. I said, I'm around all these men 24/7. And I'm beginning to forget how a woman voice sounds. I want to hear a woman voice. I want a woman to hear my voice. And I just want to talk about some things that I can't talk to about the guys. I want to be able to stay in touch with the women race. Because that way when I get free, I won't clam up the first time I try to talk to the first woman. I'm just looking up occupy some of my occupied time. Before it was over with, saying I talked to one operator so regular, it's like every time I dial operator, it didn't matter what day it was, maybe it was just pure destiny, because I don't believe in chance and I don't believe in love. Maybe it was by pure destiny that most of the time I made a collect call or match zero. Like I wanted to make a collect call, I got that particular woman. And then when I didn't get her, I got other women. I think the whole time I did that was almost a year. I think I only had 2 guys operator pick up. And when they picked up and I told them that I could hang up and call back and hope to get a female voice, but I'm just gonna tell them I called the operator not to talk to no male. I want to hear a woman voice. And they had no problems clicking me over to some woman that was unoccupied, that wasn't already talking to someone on the phone. Right? It's like they understood what I was talking about. That helped me out a whole lot because I was talking to women that I didn't get a chance to see. I was talking to women that I didn't know personally. I didn't care about their color. I didn't care if they were fat, skinny, or none of that. Only thing I was concerned with the most was their attention span. They had to have a longer attention span because I had things I wanted to talk about, things I wanted to say. If they was able to hold a conversation, if they was able to listen well, if they was able to keep me occupied, answering some questions here or there, or put in some kind of input when I'm talking. If they was able to do that, I didn't mind talking. It was a couple of weeks before the inmates found out I was doing that. And they was like, damn, young buck, man, that was brilliant, man. That was a good idea you came up with, to be able to reach outside these bars using that telephone and that operating service, and you didn't even have to make a collect call. That was good. So all this helped me prepare myself. But whenever I got out, right, and I did eventually get out, several of the young ladies, like I said, they was older than me, that I met while I was locked up, some of the women that was pen pals, some of the same ones that came to visit me a few times. I did interact with them, but they was then, when I got released, they were still in that street-like game, and they actually thought I was going to be their partner in crime. I wasn't going to be nobody's partner in crime because I wasn't trying to go back. So we didn't have nothing in common. This is OG Eddie Lee signing out. Peace.